way the offensive line has been so unsettled with guys coming and going and now the injuries. How would you describe the challenges from your perspective that have gone with that?
I think, sooner or later, I think we'll get some consistency going, but we're just trying to find the best spot to put guys in. Whether my offensive line, whatever kind of condition they're in, I'm always trying to push anticipation, just trying to get the ball out as quick as possible to always help them out. So I think it doesn't really change anything I do. It's just maybe on certain situations, just a little bit of heightened awareness at some maybe where my issues are. Like this last game, like Dieter is a hell of a player, but he's just not really a natural left tackle. So you just kind of those kinds of things you just got to be aware of. But dealt with a lot last year in Arizona, so it's just sort of continue to figure out. I think it actually makes you a little bit better because you have to work the pocket a little more, get the ball out quick, and hopefully it'll help me in the long run.
It's obviously not ideal, the situation you've been in terms of you haven't played with 4 All-Pros on your offensive line in either spot. So that's a negative in terms of judging you. Are there any positives, do you think, Josh, in terms of playing with rebuilding units that maybe aren't as developed? Can you see any positive in that from your standpoint?
Yeah, absolutely. As I was saying earlier, I think a lot of it's a lot of the reason that like Tom and a lot of these great Drew and all them can play for so long is because unfortunately Drew got hurt, but is because they can get the ball so quickly, so they're not really taking that many hits, and they understand defenses so well, so they can take some stress off of their offensive line and just get the ball out in their playmakers' hands and let them make plays. So I think in situations like this where maybe you kind of have to push the clock a little bit, I think that could be really good for my development as it has been up to this point.
Do you have a number in your head as far as how many seconds you in a typical play you want to?
No, it all depends on what we're trying to accomplish. Whether it's we're sending all our guys out and trying to get something quick, because sometimes protection is a little counterintuitive, where you might think put as many guys in the box to block as we can. It might work, but you got less guys running routes, and it's still the same sort of one-on-one matchups inside. They just sometimes add players on top. So sometimes it's a little counterintuitive, and you might spread guys out and might get the ball out quick, might help them out a little bit, but at the same time, bringing guys in and max protecting is always also valuable as well. So I think it all depends on the situation. Clocks are different and objectives for different plays and where you're trying to go. So I can give you a specific answer.
You've talked about how important the mic point is in this offense and for the quarterback. Could you let us in on what everything it is that you need to process or that gets processed when that thing happens?
Yeah, I think I will say that I think I finally have gotten over that hump. I think I'm starting to really pick up front IDs pretty well. Dallas runs a little bit more of a vanilla system because they're really good at what they do. That's just kind of their style. So it was good for that to kind of be my first game. But I'm starting to really feel a little more comfortable with regards to that front ID stuff that I was struggling with a little while ago. It's essential to know like exactly where your issues are. So in certain situations, you're not going to fix everything. If they're blitzing, like if they blitz and they're always going to bring one more guy than you, then at least you know where that guy's coming from. So you know which way to slide, where to drift, or where to set the protection for the particular routes. Because Dan Kilgore's an unbelievable center, but he just doesn't really he doesn't know all the routes. So I think that's where sometimes if you can fill that void in communication, I think you can be a positive.
Josh, I imagine you grew up following Phillip Rivers. Do you know him at all, and what do you admire most about him?
Freshman year at UCLA, Noel Mazzoni's my coordinator, and he I think was Phillip's coordinator at NC State. So he would sometimes stop by. I got to meet him briefly, but never really got to talk to him too much. But he's an unbelievable player. When I played him last year, I think he almost was one throw short of a perfect game, which is hard to compete with. But he's an unbelievable player, and Coach McCoy last year in Arizona with me as well. As he's installing his offense with us in Arizona, we're watching a ton of Phillip film for his time and time with the Chargers. So, unbelievable player, and it's fun to watch.
And do you remember following him as a kid?
Not like very detailed, but grew up an Eagles fan. Followed Donovan McNabb when I was a kid.
Okay, I just figured he was in the neighborhood or nearby. So.
Yeah. We're a little further south, but yeah.
You mentioned last week, I guess, your style's aggressive. How would you kind of grade your aggression last week?
That's a good question. I think pretty good. I think we had a goal. I don't want to really say what the goal was, but I think there's a kind of roughly hit our goal in terms of like aggression and whatnot. I tried to give my guys a couple chances. Devontae made an awesome play at the beginning of the game. I remember I chucked like a third and long later in the game. It's kind of throwing up a prayer, but I think it's all about taking sort of calculated risks. I mean, you never want to chuck up a pick, but in certain situations, you definitely kind of want to push it down the field. Know who you guys are, but I thought I did a pretty good job in terms of aggression.
An aggression goal?
Yeah, you usually have like you kind of usually think out how you want to tempo a game. It's sort of a general offensive like principle, like this is what we want to attack. Kind of. Yeah, a little bit. Not exactly, but yes.
Josh, how do you handle communication and positivity with teammates when mistakes occur?
Yeah, just the positivity thing. I think sometimes when, unfortunately, I'm a little lost a good amount of games this last year and a half. But I think sometimes when the game's getting a little bit out of hand, sometimes you just want to rein everyone's focus and be like, let's just play good football that we're proud of. Let's just this is still a game. Let's have fun, smile. And if you grab someone's shoulder pads and they're pissed off and you make them smile before they leave, I think it always works a little bit. But for the most part, I think in that huddle sometimes it's just like, guys, it's not like when we played I'm sorry, it's kind of weird to bring up a college thing. We played Texas A&M for a big comeback and we're down a bunch of points. It's like, guys, like, who really cares about that? Let's just play good football. Let's do what we're brought here to do, and let's just have some fun. And I think sometimes with enough of sort of those words of encouragement, it can snowball into actually manifesting itself in real positive plays, drives, quarters, and wins.
Did it work that day?
It did.
You seem to have really good chemistry with Preston Williams, and I know everyone's an individual. How do you get close to that with the other guys, and how long does that typically take?
Reps. I mean, I really haven't gotten. I think part of the reason I've chemistry with Preston is because he wasn't really in the starting lineup with me all through OTAs in the beginning of training camp. So I just really haven't gotten a lot of reps with these guys. Devontae is pretty easy to throw to. You can just kind of put it in the general vicinity. You'll find it. But I'm still getting my chemistry down with Jakeem. Remember, I had airmailed one to him in New England. Albert's coming out, so someone new. All the tight ends, Mike and Durham. So, even Katie and Kalen. So it's just reps. I've just thrown with Preston a good amount, so time will come.
You guys good?
All right, thanks.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Josh.